Hey everyone, it's Nick from Nick's Crossing. Welcome back to the train room. Today we're going to be talking about and reviewing this awesome SD70M-2 from MTH's Rail King line. So here we go, guys. All aboard. Alright guys, so this locomotive is a fan favorite of the channel. So I finally bit the bullet and was like, you know what? Let's do a review on this locomotive and of course a run session. It's a little bit past midnight tonight, so why not? I'm up here in the train room, got nothing else to do other than sleeping. Who does that anymore? And like I said, this is a fan favorite. Every time I run this during a live stream, you guys are always ranting and raving. You know, the horn sounds great, that's an awesome loco. You know, what is that? All those awesome comments. So today's the day. So this is an SD70M-2. It's all part of that ACE or ACE family from EMD. I love EMD and all of that. Now my only grievance with this locomotive is that it's in the road name that I'm still kind of bitter about. Yeah, I'm still bitter about Norfolk Southern. And for anyone new to the channel, I actually had an employment offer from them, but it fell through because of their ridiculous BMI policy, body mass index. So they said I was too large for the job. I mean, it's whatever. Some of you guys have seen me out in the wild, so to say. And just to me, it's like you guys want people to work for you. You need help. But you're going to turn down someone that's able and willing to work. I would work there every day, but I'm still somewhat bitter about it. And instead, I applied for a competitor railway. So I'm actually waiting on that employment application to be approved. I hope to get an interview with that competitor railway that you guys just saw. I really would like to work for a Class 1. I've been trying to get a railroad job since December of 2021. It is now August of 2022. It's been a process and it should not be this hard, especially after hearing on how much these big railroads are hurting. I'm here and ready to work. Obviously, I cannot work for Norfolk Southern, but any other railroad out there, I'm willing and ready to work. Anyways, guys, I picked up this locomotive as a good luck charm while my application was in processing. Then I got the horrible news on the BMI stuff. So it's whatever. I have a Norfolk Southern SD70M-2 in my collection, and it's a pretty cool runner. It actually sounds great, and for being a Rail King PS2, it is the best sounding locomotive in my entire collection. Out of everything that I have, this one takes the cake. The horn is probably my favorite. It's got like a deep bass sound to it. It just cuts through, and it sounds like it's a real SD70 rolling down the Nick's Crossing studio layout. It's just a lot of fun. Now, Rail King pieces, you guys can see right here, she's semi-scale. It's a little bit shrunken down. I like to call Rail King pieces 031, not 027. And the reason why I call it that is because Rail King items match up really well with scale pieces and semi-scale. So let's just say you want to stick to Rail King, you can mix and match your scale stuff and not so scale stuff. And a great example will be during the run session, I picked out I think 4 or 5 scale cars, and we have some semi-scale mixed in for laughs, and it looks fantastic. When I first saw this locomotive, I thought it was a Premier, but there's some minor details like plastic, I guess you'd call them blank wheels for, your turning radiuses, which you guys will see, like right here, it's a plastic wheel. The Premier models are a little bit different. They have metal wheels for that spacer wheel, I guess you could call it. But things like that kind of gave it away. It's like, this must be a Rail King. Then I brought her home and ran her, and this thing ran great. I loved it. It did the startup sounds, which you guys will hear, and this thing is just a beast. Now, there was one problem with this locomotive. Someone most likely ran it with a Lionel ZW, like the old school ones. You're not supposed to run MTH on Lionel transformers. The newer stuff should be fine, but I'm talking like the old school pre-war, post-war transformers. I know it's a marketing tool, but MTH strictly says do not use pre-war or post-war transformers with their locomotives. It can have certain issues with their electronics, but I think someone probably ran it on a post-war transformer. It shorted out, didn't trip the breaker, and blew out the charging circuit. Now these locomotives have, I believe this one has a 5-volt battery, and the 5-volt charging circuit is dead. But the cool thing is on top, which I'll show you guys, there is a charging port. So when that battery decides to die, I can plug in the battery and charge her up. If you run this in command mode, which I don't have DCS up here, we're going to run her conventionally. DCS will override that. You don't really need the battery because of the constant voltage, and she'll run perfectly fine. But I have to keep an eye on the battery. The battery tested as new when I brought it to an MTH dealer. One of my good friends, Iron Horse Trains, Troy over there, hooked her up to his DCS remote and was like, yeah, your battery's good. Just something's up with the charging circuit. So it was a whole ordeal. I actually took it to another repair guy. So guys, these SD70M-2s are part of this huge family of SD70s produced by EMD, Electromotive Division. So I'm glad this is not a GE, General Exploder, General Electric. I'll be nice. I'm a huge EMD fan, so having an EMD on my tracks is welcome with open arms. Just not a huge fan of the modern diesel look. You know, I like the older stuff that you can kind of identify what things are. You don't have to go by the writing on the door. You can look at it and say, oh, that's probably, you know, a GP9 or a GP7 or GP30. You know, they're easily identifiable by just some of their characteristics instead of counting fans and where the horn's at, where's the exhaust port, how many stanchions does it have. It's like, no, it's like this is too hard for me to do. I need to look at an engine and say, hey, that's a GP9, it's got dynamic brake fins, done, there you go. You know, stuff like that. I like it nice and simple. Nick's a very simple man. So the SD70M-2 production started 2004 2011. A bunch of these were made. So let's just see. There's basically a rating for 4,300 horsepower. I believe that was provided by Norfolk Southern. They wanted more power. Always want more power. And in total, 331 of these were built. Canadian National owning 190. 8 units were owned by EMD. 4 were owned by CIT Financial, which were eventually leased by Florida East Coast. So there you go. That's pretty cool. Or Vermont Railway owned 2 units, and Norfolk Southern ordered 130 of these. However, they were retired in April of 2020. So that's probably why I haven't seen one of these. I've seen a handful of Aces up in Enola Yards, like I said, before the whole Norfolk Southern thing happened. I did some rail fanning to see where I would potentially work, and we ran into a rail fanner up there. I did a video on that too. It's the video at the Wabash Heritage Unit, and we saw a couple of Aces up there, or ACEs, and he was kind of foaming over that. I was just kind of like, yeah, it looks like a modern diesel, but they're cool. They're nice and loud and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to turn the camera around, take you guys trackside. Let's talk about this. I don't call it a beautiful locomotive. It's tracks. So this locomotive, it's ABS plastic body. It's pretty sturdy. I wouldn't, throw it around too much. It's not a Williams train. On top, we have a separately applied air conditioner, a vent back here. It's all white. It's kind of hard to see. Lots of separately applied details up front. There's actually a chain that's supposed to go across here, but it's broken off and it's hanging down. Kind of gives that Norfolk Southern look, the authentic railroad look right there. Lots of cool detail in here in the trucks. The trucks are die cast, and like I said, this wheel back here is plastic, so it just kind of trails around. Your drive wheels are these two right here, metal gears, of course, so no plastic gears shearing off while you're enjoying your train. We have an electric coupler front and rear, which is awesome, and all of your handrails here are all metal, which is fantastic. Lots of cool detail with the steps, painted steps going up. And in the front, we actually have ditch lights that do go off when you hit the horn. They alternate and blink. Thought that was really cool. And your number boards light up here. Separately applied windshield wiper blades. Thought that was a cool touch as well. In the rear, we have a brake wheel and lots of separately applied vents on top. We have a chain back here as well. That one's intact. It's a little bit more authentic there. Same as before, die-cast trucks, metal gears, electric coupler, and the venting in here is real. So this is actually a motor vent right here. Get some air in for the motors, and up top on the other side, there's also a vent right there. You can see right through it. That's to also get some air inside for your motors. Now, the port on top, this is the only thing I don't like about this locomotive. and it wouldn't matter what road name it's in. This is like a design flaw, in my opinion. This lifts up. It's magnetized. There's like these two little magnets, and this is your control set for your volume control and your smoke unit. This has a fan-driven smoke unit that's right in here inside this vent. Basically, you can decide how much smoke you want. Of course, Nick's Crossing, we love everything loud and smoking, so everything's cranked to, you know, notch 7 here. And right here is a charge port. So this is how you access the charging port on there. Now the motor, these little lines right here, according to my MTH tech, that's actually for your speed control. So this thing glides along the tracks. You know, it's not going to pick up speed on you. It's not going to slow down completely. It's got a really nice speed control system in there as well. But that's my only complaint. You know, if you didn't know this cover was here, you're going to lift this engine up. You know, lift it up by this. It's a nice grab. You know, it's got some depth to it. You can just hold on to it and then you'll just drop your train. So not the best design feature on this locomotive. I think that's the only major flaw. Up here you have the horn. It is bent, but it gives that Norfolk Southern authentic look, and it's actually metal, stamped metal. So yeah, you don't want to step on that one. That's definitely going to hurt in the morning. So yeah, we can get her fired up. All right guys, so let's fire her up. We're going to run this locomotive in conventional mode. This does have DCS capability, so it's Proto-Sound 2, and we're just going to run her in conventional mode. Now the magic thing is with MTH locomotives, they pick up the variable voltage, so she'll run in conventional mode. Now as soon as you give her constant voltage, the locomotive will pick up the DCS signal, and she will run in DCS or command mode. So I thought that was a really cool idea with this locomotive. So let's get her fired up here. There you go. There's the rear coupler thrown, and here's the front coupler. And this Alright guys, so let's get some cars behind her. We'll run her around a few times. Let you guys take a ride behind the SD70M-2. So here we go guys, all aboard. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for this review of my SD70M-2 from MTH Rail King. Such an awesome engine, and I am a fan of Rail King. I've got a bunch of Rail King stuff, and I love the car. Some of the cars in Rail King are different than the Premier stuff. They're a little bit more out there, and it's just a lot of fun. It's all about having fun. Love Rail King products, and this engine really hits it out of the park for you know, being a command control locomotive with those amazing sounds, with all the amazing detail. It's so cool. So this is definitely one of my favorites in the fleet, even though it is in that Norfolk Southern paint scheme. Wish it was in FEC after reading the you know, a little bit about the SD70M-2, but it's whatever. And I am still a little bitter about Norfolk Southern, but I think something should turn up soon, especially with that competitor railway. So we'll have to see what happens, guys. Best way to stay in tune with everything, always consider subscribing. Love reading your guys' comments, and leaving the video one of these really helps out. Until next time, everyone, happy railroading, and we'll see you next time. See you guys.